Dear students, good morning. Today we will continue with the chapter number 10, Organs of the Government. Today we will discuss the point legislator at the state level. In that, first we will discuss about the legislative assembly. Each state has a legislature and it is called legislative assembly. Legislative assembly is a lower house of the state. So, in the discussion about the beginning of the chapter, that some states have at the state level the legislature, and some states have two types of legislative assemblies, that is legislature and legislative assembly and legislative council. Some states have legislative assemblies. For example, our states have legislative councils, but some states have legislative assembly and legislative council both. So, what is the difference between legislative assembly and legislative council? So, at the state level, legislative assembly is called as the lower house and legislative council as called as the upper house or other house of the legislature, as we have two houses in the parliament, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, whereas Rajya Sabha is a upper house and Lok Sabha is a lower house. In the same way, at the legislative assembly is a lower house and legislature is called the upper house at the state level. Now, what are the qualifications for the membership of legislature of the state legislature? So, any person who is a citizen of India and is of 25 years or more and is not in a state of unsound mind, insolvent or criminal cannot contest the elections of legislative assembly. If we talk about the time period of the members of, or we can say the MLA, the legislative assembly is not a permanent house. Its time period is of 5 years. In legislative assembly, speaker and deputy speaker are elected by the members from amongst themselves. The members of the legislative council are elected from among the institutions and local self government, registered graduates, teachers of secondary and higher secondary by electorates. To be eligible as a member of legislative council, the candidate should be of 30 years or most of it, and must be a citizen of India. The legislative council is a permanent house It is not a temporary house. Now let's discuss about executives. Union executive means at central government. Political executive comprising administration of the Prime Minister and cabinet of ministers, president, vice president and bureaucrats. Political and administrative executives, officers and employees are in indirect contact of the people. The executive implements the laws framed by the legislature. Political executive changes every 5 years or if the power is given up, whereas the administrative executive is formed by permanently and appointed bureaucrats and hence it is permanent. Administrative executive requires educational qualification, quality, experience as well as passing competitive examination to be appointed permanently. The service of the administrative officer is known as the civil service. At the center, the political executive consists of president, vice president, prime minister and cabinet of ministers as per the constitution. Now let's discuss about the presidents. What are their qualifications, functions and powers? President is a constitutional head of India, or in other language if we can say that the president is the first citizen of India. All the executive powers of the federal government are given to the president by the constitution. All the administration of the central government is carried out in the name of president. He is the head of the nation and first citizen of Republic of India. If we talk about the qualification of the president of qualification as a president, so a presidential candidate should be a citizen of India and should be 35 years of age or above. He should not be a salarized employee of the government or hold any office or input. He should not be a member of any of the houses of the parliament or state legislative assembly. The presidential election is indirectly carried out by the member of both the houses of the parliament and the members elected to the state legislative assembly. A president is elected for a term of 5 years and he can contest the election after completion of his term. When the president is in power, neither criminal case can be framed against him nor an order of arrest of imprisonment can be issued. Now let's discuss about the functions and powers of the president. If we talk about the functions and powers of the president, so he appoints prime minister and other ministers of the cabinet. The president has the power to declare war, cease the war, or conclude treaties with other countries. He can establish president rule by dissolving the state cabinet ministry. So these are the main functions and powers of the presidents. In our next video, we will discuss about more we will discuss more about this chapter. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.